I love MMOs, and they have always been a big part of my life. Growing up, I'd play just about anything as long as it was free to access, so as you can imagine, I'd spend a lot of time switching from game to game. I'd play more well-known titles such as Club Penguin and RuneScape, to lesser known such as Sherwood Dungeon or even Bin Weevils. However, there was one MMO that I barely see talked about online, and it's been on my mind for years. It was a browser-based MMO, originally called Chapatiz, and later known as Moo-niz Online. If you search Chapatiz now, you'll be sent to a French version of the site, which I believe was the original version of the game, but that's not the version I want to talk about today. Back in around 2009, I believe, there was an English-speaking version of the site that I used to frequent. I'll refer to it as Moo-niz from now on, just because that's what it was called when it closed for good. Originally, this video was just going to be me talking about what I enjoyed about the game from my own perspective, but then I dug a little deeper and I found some stuff that I thought was also interesting to share. I have tried to do my best proper research to get the facts right, but I may get some things wrong, especially since it's been well over a decade since the game's been gone. I don't even remember my username from the time. Also, I don't speak French, so maybe there's elements that don't translate well about the situation and the closing of the game. The game itself was one of those social hangout games. You could customise your character. I remember at the time there was two sorts of models you could go for, an adorable little egg creature, I don't even know what to call it, or a realistic kind of human avatar. You could chat, play minigames, decorate your place, and even marry other players. On the website you could buy clothes, join groups, and participate in forum discussions. The catchphrase of the site was "Be the King," and every week there was an opportunity for a user to get voted as the King on the game's website through an upvote system. There's also a similar vote system for something called Flirt of the Week, with winners receiving rewards such as XP or in-game items. There was a heavy emphasis on social interactions within the game, which is always what I've enjoyed most about MMO games. There were plenty of events such as talent shows and quizzes hosted by the moderation team. From what I remember and have seen online, it had its core player base who really loved the game, and it's seen in the music videos and sketches they've created for YouTube. It was actually the marriage system what inspired me to go looking for the information in the first place. As well as marriage, you could also get divorced in the game. But to get divorced, you had to go through this rather scary part of the world, through caves and lava. And there's also this part of the area where your character could be seen crying when you tried to divorce, and that's what I remember anyway of what I've seen. I just realised as I was watching this clip back that it unlocked like a core memory in me. One of the reasons why the place was so scary is because the walls were talking to you. It's quite low quality, but they say things like, "Why make promises you can't keep?" And then somebody's going to have a good laugh about something, I can't make it out. But yeah, that's kind of the spooky appeal to it. I like to watch a lot of videos about scary places in video games, and this area was always on my mind whenever the topic came up. Obviously, I was just a child at the time, so it wouldn't scare me as much today as it did back then. When I asked the question, why does nobody ever talk about this MMO? I feel like I already kind of know the answer. It's a complicated topic with not much information about it. There's the odd article from when it was released talking about the game and what it was about, and also a handful of people trying to learn about it on Reddit. I wouldn't consider it as one of those lost media cases, as there are similar versions of the game out there. The game as Moo-niz was operational from around 2009 to January of 2011, so I feel like it didn't really have time to make a profound impact on English-speaking MMO enjoyers. I didn't want to talk much about the French version of the site, but when I was researching this, I did come across a Facebook page from somebody who was apparently quite heavily involved with the creation of Moo-niz Online. On it was a forum post from 2008. It goes over the split from the French version of the site, and it also talks about a game called Chimboz. I hadn't heard about this game before and decided to check the site out. From what I can tell, the early version of Chapatiz used to be called Chimboz, and now a fan project uses the name, and it's been in development since around 2021. I have some footage of me wandering around the map itself, similar to what I remember Moo-niz looking like. I just thought it was an interesting thing to add here. Apparently there was an attempt to revive the project in 2012, but I've not seen any official confirmation that anything ever came of it. There was mentions of private servers and versions 2 and versions 3, but there's even less information on those kinds of projects, so maybe they did just stay private if they did exist at all. So where are we now? Well, the domain is still active, which talks about the game's comeback. It has also been recently updated, as it talks about losing collected details in December of 2024. I would be wary about this, however. As I was doing research, I read some comments on a few videos talking about how the website was coming back soon. Those comments were from 4 years ago. So I also checked the Wayback Machine, and by the looks of it, the same page has been up since at least 2020. Whether it is genuinely just in some form of development hell, or somebody trying to grab details, I'd advise caution about handing anything over. If an English version does come back, then cool, but considering how long it's been, I very much doubt it'd be on the horizon anytime soon. That's all I really have about Muniz Online. But while I was looking for other stuff for this video, I managed to find out about some other lesser known MMOs, or at least ones I hadn't heard about before from around the same time period. So maybe future looks into other MMO games to come. Thank you very much for watching.